Hey, what's up, guys? Uh, Getting the recap for last night's session in Legends. If you remember, quick recap from last time, so you don't have to watch the whole hour-long thing. Was basically my recovery from the shared willed experience with communing with that living weapon, and kind of the adventure that I had to go through to get through it. With this session, where I left off last time was the Harlequin, who is like an avatar of speed, but also an like they're like this messenger, kind of like I guess like was it Hermes? Like was it the messenger god, but also kind of like this god of speed, similar to that kind of premise where. I keep calling it a god. It's like they're considered like an elder or an elder being, so they're up there. Uh, but yeah, um, I start off my session where I basically set off on this journey with Kato, my best friend slash rival, who, yeah, like he's supposed to be my anchor that tethers me back to where we're going, where I came from, and I come to find out that as I enter this it's almost like I'd liken it to like a Speed Force kind of thing, where it's this conduit that exists that Harlequin messengers can use to travel great distances in limited amounts of time. Um, and as I come to find out, we travel a very long way. Uh, so it seems like I'm running through this. I don't know, like it's kind of hard to describe like this. Not necessarily a tunnel, but like an area of a space, and there's like a lot of people through here, like, and all of them are moving very, very fast. Like roughly like 1 to 2 million people, I think, is what I said, uh, or what it was said. And it's like of these people, about 50,000 of them don't have masks. Which I'm gonna say like, hey man, I must have some pretty nice perception if I'm able to pick out like that many people not having masks. And then I come to find out the ones who aren't wearing masks are pretty much doing what Kato was doing, where he's an anchor. So not all the people in here require anchors because I've done like I think it's like half a dozen to a dozen runs for the Harlequin before that are basically part of my backstory that I don't necessarily know or anything like that. Like they happen, and if I'm like, hey DM, what happened, with this and that and everything like that, he can give me the information. But like for now, it's not really pertinent. It's just this is like something that happens whenever you're traveling a very far distances. So we start running, and along the way, I see this guy, and it's like it seems like he's kind of succumbing to the effects of this space we're in and the speed that we're traveling at. Like it's like I guess like the DM described it as like near mind blowing kind of speeds where that's just kind of how fast you're going, where you shouldn't be able to, like, with where I am and what at the level I'm at, like I shouldn't be able to perceive this, but through the Harlequin we're able to. But anyway, this guy, like, he kind of succumbs to the effects, and then I think they turn him into like a wraith of some sort. And as my character is just kind of like, this is the Harlequin is obviously, or not obviously, is borrowed power. Like it's borrowed power for a price, and the price is that you have to be you basically are called on to be a messenger every now and again. And not everyone who borrows this power might be equipped to handle the tasks at hand. And I think that's just like that's kind of like the ebb and flow, the give and take of it. Like you gotta, if you're not there, it's like, because I was like, is there anything I can do to help him? And DM was like, you can maybe give him Kato. And I was like, whoa, DM, no, I need Kato. Screw that. You're on your own, buddy. And I kind of made peace with the fact that it's like, if you're borrowing power like that, like maybe you're just not equipped to do it. It's an unfortunate side effect of the universe as a whole. We get to traveling, and it feels like that I pass 15 galaxies, which is insane, like for distance wise, like especially considering I'm just running through space. But it's like far and away the furthest I've ever been from my home galaxy. Yeah, and it's like we're definitely out there in no man's land. Not no man's land in the sense that no one's out there, but like just very, very far away from home. Before I leave, uh, basically these wraiths come up beside me, and I'm like, oh shoot, like are they gonna start attacking me like they attacked the other guy? Like Kato kind of looks at me, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like this is new to me. But we just saw that other guy just get wiped from existence, so maybe worried. But then I kind of like the Harlequin operates off of not so much speech, but like kind of intuitions and stuff like that. And I get the idea that they're there to help. They hand me this metallic mask that sort of looks like the mask from Jim Carrey's The Mask, and it's kind of I understand it's like a gift for the services that I've rendered so far to the Harlequin, and that also for taking on this thing. So it's like kind of like a perk to the job kind of thing. What it ends up being is the gift I had requested with my points was a an augmentation of my skin similar to Colossus style armor, but because I'm a Constitution magic user, it's basically manifests itself in that way, but also like through a Harlequin gift. So it's still Constitution magic, but it's like that's just basically how it's exchanged. I put the mask on, I get access to the armor now, I get access to my gift, that kind of stuff. No big deal. Um, Travel, we make our exit, and Kato and I wake up on this beach. It's daytime. It's pretty nice. It's a three-sun planet, and I get the understanding that I have to deliver a message to this woman named Alana Salt. Now, I don't know what the message is. It's more I have to make physical contact with this person, and in doing so, the message will be transferred to her. All right. Don't know what the person looks like, but I'll know her when I see her, kind of thing. Like I said, there's a kind of an intuition thing to it. Like I can't close my eyes and be like, this is what she looks like. But when I'm around her, I'll kind of know what she is. But also, like, I can search the planet. My senses are pretty good. There's something later I try to do that would probably have worked if not for other things happening. So a woman is near the beach, and she's got like a superhero looking outfit on. Very like kind of classic silver golden age kind of thing where yeah, she's just she's one of those kind of people. Like I don't think she had a cape or anything like that, but she had like the shoulder pads and the gold and white and black like motif go on, and like with all that kind of stuff. Her name's Nissa. I have Nissa here, but it's actually Nissa. And I kind of like oh, she feels like she's about like like a Super Saiyan level. And when Kato and I exit, we're both like normal at that point. So she feels much more powerful than we do. So we bang, just jump to that level, just so it's like in case we're about to get got. It's like showed up on some strange world. Let's make sure we're there, and we end up being like a little bit above her level at that point with just like the flash jump, which is cool. But yeah, she comes over and introduces herself, and we kind of exchange pleasantries, and I get the feeling that she's connected to the Harlequin network. She fills me in that says this is the planet Eterna, and it's the planet and the system name that. And then there's two more people coming up to us, and one feels a bit more powerful than her, and the other one feels, I think, like significantly more powerful. Not to like that SS4 level kind of thing, like because like for me it's like two feels like I feel like I can wrap my mind around a two. When I'm in two, I can wrap my mind around threes pretty well, but fours are still fuzzy because they're just that powerful. But yeah, like these two people coming up, I feel like I could wrap my mind around them. And I'm like, hey, like, is there any kind of issue here? And she's like, no, they're friends. So, as a real world, like, I'm still suspicious. Like, yeah, I don't know about all this. They might be coming to start some stuff. They might be coming to intercept the message. Who knows? They could have 100 different reasons for screwing me over. It's real world, baby. So there is a guy that has red and silver suit, and it kind of fits like Cap's uniform. He looks pretty cool. Then there's like a skull face guy who has like one of those Punisher style, instead of like a shirt, it's like a mask, like kind of that skull thing. Come to find out their name, the red guy is Vash Gunner, and the black guy, his name is Alaric Knight. Cool dudes. They kind of like introduce themselves and exchange some pleasantries and everything like that. And I come to find out that all three of them are part of the Harlequin network. Like they're basically servants, they're acolytes of the Harlequin, I guess, which is what I technically am too. Like you're like people who borrow power for the Harlequin, but you're also you do the messenger stuff, and I was like, well, is this your world? And they're like, yeah. What we decided to do was, we've been where you are before. Um, sorry, we've been where you are before, like ending up in a strange world, and someone that we did it with before helped us out in the same way, because like we're all batting for the same team. I was like, oh, right, one, that's like a not a bad idea. Like you sent someone showing up from the Harlequin, like if whether or not like there's a network you can look into. Like I'm not sure about that yet. I didn't ask or didn't get a chance to inquire, but like basically the idea is like, listen, this is no skin off our neck to come out and help you a little bit. Like we don't get anything out of it, I don't think necessarily, but it's just like kind of taking one for the team in a sense, where it's like nothing else is crazy going on, so we can come out here and help you. Right on. So we talk a little bit, and we're trying to. I'm still like decently suspicious at this point. More so as a player, less so as Emerson. Like I was trying to like kind of balance out between, you know, where it's going on, because it's like, oh, like they're with the Harlequin. Like, is there kind of that inner fighting or like kind of one-upsmanship that exists within that organization, or is it like literally all playing for the same team, the greater good kind of thing? Because like I said, the Harlequin is like from what I understand, is not like the overly violent type. Like there are elders who are definitely more steeped in violence. Like the Harlequin's just a messenger. Like she delivers and brokers information, which is in itself dangerous and stuff like that. Like we all know how powerful information can be, but yeah, it's don't shoot the messenger. Maybe that works. I don't know. We find out that doesn't work. Uh, so we discuss what's going to go on, and I say, well, I know, because like apparently whenever people get these assignments, like everyone gets something different, in the sense of some people have names, some people have faces, some people have being able to sense a person, like a kind of passive compass that exists. Like I just have a name for this one. So we kind of finally like solidify that we are on the same team, and I give up the name of the person we're supposed to be looking for. And in the process of doing this, kind of like there's a conversation that is existing, but I also power up to my maximum level so that we can better, because I think there's a way that I can sense. I can basically use my overlapping senses, where it's like this sense for the person I'm working for with the Harlequin, like to find a lot of salt, but also my Saiyan senses of like being able to sense energy and stuff like that. But it might take like an hour of meditation or something like that. No big deal. Like this isn't like the most urgent thing. Like I feel like there's the DM basically said like you'll sense a sense of urgency when it's like you're taking too long or something like that to deliver a message. Like some things are more time sensitive than others. Like this one doesn't feel like it's that case. Cool. They're pretty what's it called? Nissa and Vash like are pretty impressed with it, because like just powering up to that level, like you call out the storm clouds, and like you just adjust the atmosphere, like the atmosphere changes around you as you power up to that level. And like I'm a solid 2 at this point. Like I can't remember if I'm long form 2, or I think I'm close to long form 2, if not already there, but maybe not like full long form. Like maybe like just a solid 2 at this point. Um, but yeah, so I do that. 2 of them are like decently impressed. Like, oh wow, like because now it's all of a sudden. And then Kato, I was like, Kato's like, would it help if I do it too? And it's like, I feel like if anything's gonna happen, we want to be at our best anyway, because it's just like, you know, we should. And when I sense out, I tell Kato, it's like there are like, what was it, like I think like maybe 10,000 Super Saiyan level powers on this planet, maybe like 100 or 200 level 2s, maybe a few dozen level, like maybe like I think it was like 12 to 24 level 3s, and then like maybe like 2 to 4, like maybe 4-ish, 4 or 5 level 4s. It's like, whoa. So we definitely want to stay clear of the 4s. Like Kato and I can maybe take like a level 3 person who's around that power level, because we've got like both of us have some like transcendent abilities that are kind of like swinging upwards. Like this is more like out of character information than I know. Now, granted, this isn't like a guarantee. Like, if 3 shows up, he just might mop the floor. He or she might mop the floor with this. Like, it's not like, oh, like 3s are sweet or anything. Or people within that spectrum of power aren't necessarily sweet because everyone does different things. Like, that power doesn't manifest in a uniform way of translating to strength, speed, destructive capability, or anything like that. Everything's a little different. But, like, generally speaking, myself and probably Emrys would be at least willing to fight like someone at a 3 level. Definitely anyone at a 2 level, but like at a 4 level, like things get out of control at that point. Like that's just beyond our scope. And like someone who's a really high 3, like yeah, that's gonna be in the same territory. But you work with what you got. Like we're not out here looking to get a fight or anything like that. But it's I was saying so. There's gonna be it can't go that smooth, can it? So Kato and I both power up. We're now the 2 most powerful people there, sense wise, and I basically explained to Kato the situation of what's going on here, and my idea is I'm going to do this meditation thing. I'm going to keep one of the people here with me, probably Nissa or something like that, and then I'm going to send the other 2 off with Kato, and I'm going to have them access like public records to try to find this person to see like because it's like it. From what I could sense of the plane, there's these airships and stuff everywhere too. Not everywhere as in clouding the sky, but like there's a decent amount of powerful machinery that exists on this planet. Some very like intense power levels or power draw that exist in these machines. So like it's no joke from a technological perspective. So I figure like Saiyan Empire, we have like that kind of information where we can go to. That's like Kato, you'll be the dude that does that because I have like the extra sensory thing. I'll be the one that does that. We'll kind of split our things up, and boom, we've got our plan. Right on cue, as I found out from the DM, like we spent a lot more time at the beach than he originally thought we would. But that's how real world ends up being. The planet near the city near us, which, as I had sensed out before when I hit my new level, or when I hit my max level, had about 100,000 people, just gets wiped out by this explosion. And, it's like, I didn't, as a player, as a character, like, I'm on a foreign planet, foreign world, foreign system, like, wars could be going on, it's like, this is not my business, whatever. But, Nissa screams out like kind of like one of those gutter like no, and it's like okay, that's probably her home, and probably everyone she knew and loved is dead, because the DM basically said like the population went from 100,000 to like maybe like 1,000 life signs that are like that are flickery at best, and it's just like boom, wiped out. Oh shoot, like that's probably a pretty powerful person out there. Maybe he doesn't want anything to do with me. that's the hope and the dream, baby. Like, listen, this planet's got its own things going on. Maybe for all we know, those 100,000 people over there were child murderers. Who can say? Maybe they had like baby killing Olympics. God only knows. I'm not here to judge cultures or anything like that. I'm just here to deliver a message. Yeah. So that unfortunately wasn't the case at all. I sense I don't even know if it was one of those or if it was, I think from what I learned later, it probably was one of those, but I sense one of those SS4 level people, over there. Now, the problem with sensing those kind of people is their power is so expansive, it feels like it's just part of the environment. Like, they basically exist on a portion of the planet, and it's like you just kind of sense that umbrella that they project. And it's so wide and so vast, it's hard to not necessarily pinpoint, like where they are, but it's like maybe not like pinpoint exactly where they are, but it's so massive. I'm like, right on, like they're coming towards us. It's like I'm thinking like it's like okay, it's like us powering up couldn't have done that because we're not that far above the other 3 people that are with us. Like we're not like we're not 3s or anything like that. We're solid 2s. Like you don't send a 4 to deal with some 2s. Like listen, you got some 4 problems out there. You deal with those. Unfortunately, this dude shows up who looks like the Thing, only it's like a blackish gray rock, but he's also bigger than the Thing. Like he's like a full on like one of the larger iterations of the Hulk size Thing, and he has some words with, I think they're called, what are they called? The Rangers. I wrote it down somewhere. Okay, the Rangers is what they're called. There's the something Rangers, and that's Vash, Nessa, and Alaric. And I'm guessing like they're like a little trio of people out here. Like from the look of it, like I would infer like there's like a little superhero group or something like that. They seem like one of the good guys. This guy definitely seems like a bad guy, as evidenced by him murdering 100,000 people just to kind of get to these people. But you know, I'm 15 galaxies away from home. Like who can say for sure? Uh, uh, yeah. So in the explosion, Alaric pulls Nissa up with him, and Kato and I get out of the way too, because the explosion, like washing over, was a lot of destruction, everything like that. And apparently Vash is the cannon of this group, because Vash powering up to his full level basically stops the wave of destruction around him and a decent area outside of that. But like also Kato and I get out of the way. But yeah, so Vash is the cannon. Vash is, I was like, oh okay, he's here for Vash. Like, all right, you take care of him. I'm gonna go deliver my message, and you good luck with all that. Like, you know, I know we were Go Team Harlequin a couple minutes ago, but like we're Go Team Harlequin up until we fight like people 2 levels above me. If he was a 3, I got your back, man. Like we're good. We'll throw some punches. But at a 4 level, like I'm cannon fodder at that point, and I don't know. Like, and again, like when someone senses as a 4, like it's difficult to pinpoint like where they are is like speed, strength, destructive potential. It's like you just have a general overall sense of the power. Here's the other weird thing: these people's powers, or this person's power, there will be people because, of course, this rock dude doesn't run alone. Sense oddly familiar, but distinctively different than stuff that I'm used to sensing. I mean, I'm around Saiyans usually, but like I'm around Arcanian Saiyans who have like different kinds of magic and stuff like that. Also, like, you know, I do meet some aliens, like I met Opal and stuff like that. So it's like I do have some sort of well to draw upon when it comes to sensing powers. It's not like the most diverse, but there is a familiarity to it, and I haven't placed it. I'm also a little bit more worried about the SS4 guy that can probably murder me before I can see it coming. So, dude shows up. I think his name is Bane, and Vash gives like this motion to like kind of get back. I take that motion as get out of here because I didn't know the difference. So it's just like, oh, as a Saiyan, I'm used to this kind of thing, like where, you know, there is a certain point where you fight up and you fight out. Like if your back isn't to the wall, but like when people of this level start to fight, you're just in the way. Like you're someone who, like, oh, like you're the two are going at it, and it's like, you know, bang bang, you know, blow for blow. It's like, oh, let me destroy your friend down there. That'll split your focus. And it's like, I'm not gonna be that person. Like screw that. So I'm out. Kato is like a split second behind me. Like he took the message. Apparently that wasn't exactly what we were supposed to do, but because a little bit of ignorance on my part, but also like if Vash is an SS4 who's also a Harlequin thing, he probably has some really nasty Harlequin level skills. Like for me, it's like I boost my speed by, where is it? Let me look it up here. By some obscene amount. I don't remember it offhand. But yeah, I can maybe, like, if anyone asks, I'll look it up later instead of going through this. Do I have it here? Anyway, I boost my speed by an obscene amount. Like I'm talking, I think like 25x or something like that. So it's like that's how I can bang with 3s. Is like I'm a 2 who has multiple ways of boosting their speed. My power isn't there, but my destructive potential, I also have a transcendent ability in those pillars that allows me to kind of fight a level up. So basically, how I designed my character was I have multiple ways of boosting my speed. In addition to the Harlequin, the Harlequin's an expensive way to do it because it's like to get that speed boost, I just give 25% of my total power. Like for that rest period, for that cycle or anything like that, it just vanishes. And everything else you do is costing energy, but it's just like you spend 25% for like 30 seconds of this speed boost. The other thing I can do with it is I can give myself, and I think up to like 3 others, a 5x speed boost, which is still crazy for the potential that it gives. But and from what I understand is what makes it so everything is it's not a 5x boost of my speed, it's a 5x boost of their speed. So like if I were to give it to someone like Nexus, like God knows how fast he would be. But I can, like I said, I can give it to myself for the biggest boost, or I can split it amongst a group of people, and it's like I think it's like 25 for me, or then it's like if I split it, it's like 5% for everybody that I give it to, up to 4 people. Anyway, sidetrack to that is I didn't think at the time Vash is like an SS4 with abilities that might be similar to this. So maybe we could have stuck around and gave Rock Guy a better bang, a better fight and everything like that. But I was more in the mind of saying thing where it's like, oh, he's a 4, he's giving us an opportunity to not be a liability to him. So bang, we're out. Of course, I sense someone else coming up, and it's a woman with a double-bladed axe. And I'm like, oh, maybe she's part of the squad coming to help. So I just kind of veer out of her way, thinking like, oh, she's here to stop Rock Guy, who just murdered 100,000 people. There's nothing overly ominous about her. She's got some red and some black. That's not inherently evil colors. I'm not going to judge color based on, any kind of implications of your goodness or evilness. You could be Obsidian Darkheart and be the nicest guy out there, who's out here to help people and save puppies from trees. Who am I to judge? I'm not going to be judged by the name or the color of the suit you wear. Unfortunately, red and black girl who's got like she's got a robotic voice. And I think she has some. I'm not clear on this. Like, I think it was just poor notes on my part because I was kind of caught up in the moment. But I can't remember if she had like robotic elements to her or just that her voice was robotic. But like, she definitely. I think she was like. She had. I think she was. Yeah, she was like cyborg. She was she was human and machine mixed together. This axe is glowing with this weird black energy, and I'm like, oh, okay, like, yeah, we definitely don't want to get hit by that because glowing weapons with energy is you want to generally avoid. And if I remember right, I didn't write it down, but I'm pretty sure she was like sensing around a 3 level. And this is one of those ones where it's like sometimes you got to fight up because the speed at which she moved when I was at 2 led me to quickly believe that there is no way that I escape her if I try to run away. Now maybe if I activated my Harlequin thing, we put some distance between us, but like I feel like she could chase me for 30 seconds, and like when you have senses like at my level of senses, I could sense everyone. Like I could pretty much sense the powers on this planet, and I probably sensed her when I sensed out. So she could definitely sense me anywhere on this planet. So kind of that, well, here we go kind of thing. And I make the connection during this time that their powers feel like this dude who I have a contract with to craft a weapon for, named Cameron the Wandering Warrior. I don't know if you guys remember back to a couple recaps ago, I come to find out that Cameron the Wandering Warrior is I don't know if I want to call him a cosmic being, but he is a wielder of cosmic energy, which is scary because, one, I don't know what Legends cosmic energy is like, but like in many other games and in many other universes, cosmic is kind of everything, and it's very scary. So we start to fight this this girl, and it's just like there's that. It's at least like Kato and I have fought together so well that we're good about predicting each other's movements when we fight each other. And this was kind of a testament to when we're fighting together, we're actually pretty nice together because he knows he knows my both predictable and unpredictable tendencies, and we know how to look for each other's openings when it comes to that. But we can kind of apply those openings to a shared opponent at this point. Um, so something I left out is Rock Guy is apparently a hater when it comes to the Harlequin. And all that they stand for, not just the Harlequin, but all the elders. And this guy wants to, excuse me, he wants to weaken the elders, I guess, by wiping out their accolades, and then eventually kill the elders themselves. And it's like, dude, you're not that powerful. Sorry, like, but I guess like this is kind of his part. So like maybe he's part of a faction. I don't know, like that. I didn't know like there was this elder hate going on out here, but apparently there is. Uh, Super Saiyan 3 robot chick, she's part of the same squad. She's there like spouting off stuff like, you know, surrender and I'll make this quick. You know, your death is inevitable, all that kind of stuff where it's like evil robot chick kind of thing. Uh yeah. So we get it in. I don't know if I'm gonna go too much into the ins and outs of the fight. Like there were a couple cool moments where Kato and I are doing some solid teamwork. Oh, we come to find out that the axe is basically a nullifier of some sort, where getting hit with it like removes something from, I don't want to say existence because that seems overly dramatic, but it just cancels it out completely. Like I got my shield, like basically the first thing I was going to do was I was going to be the frontal assault and leave Kato a chance to ambush. And it's like I'm a little bit better equipped for the frontal assault than him. He's probably a bit better boxer, but like between some of my abilities and everything like that, like I'm a little bit safer of a choice. So I didn't discuss this with them. I just kind of took that opportunity. I'm like, I'm going to give you an opening to do something. So I was going to do like this giant key blast through my shield, but she brought the axe across my shield, and it's like the shield kind of got enveloped in that energy, and then just kind of Thanos dusted or faded out of existence or something like that. And it's like, oh shoot, like this is one of those ones like don't get hit by that. Um, Thankfully, it seems like it was very specific to certain kinds of matter because later on in the fight, she threw this like either like a kunai or a dagger or something at me, and it like I almost managed to dodge it. Like I managed to like deflect most of uh, the momentum, and I think Kato aided with it as well. But like it glanced my armor, and as opposed like it basically took the layer of my armor off, and it basically exposed my chest after that. So it was like it wasn't I guess it's one of those ones where if it would have penetrated further, like if I wouldn't have dodged it as much as I did, then that might have been a wrap for me. Like if it actually touched me. Uh, so we managed to. I think like we were actually pretty good about avoiding the stuff. And we were actually getting some blows in on her. Now she's faster than both of us, I believe, but her speed is weird because um, her speed is better. Like she has incredible movement speed to the point where she's very difficult to follow. Like maybe she was like doing a teleport, instant transmission, something like that. Uh, but her strike speed did not seem as intimidating. Still very intimidating. Let's not like kid ourselves here. Still faster than us and everything like that. But it wasn't like that same level. And this is like a bit of a spoiler or something like that. Is something I didn't realize until later in the fight is everything that she had struck or done didn't have an insane amount of kinetic impact. You know, you think when you take on like an SS3 and he has an axe and brings it across your shield, if you block it, like I basically blocked it with the expectation to go flying. That's not what happened. Like my shield, like I kind of caught it with my shield and it dissolved it. And I didn't think about that at the time until later when I realized I don't think she's that strong. Like I don't think well, maybe not that strong, but like I don't think she's a heavy hitter in a sense. Like she seems like she's more relying on uh this axe's special properties, and I get the idea that maybe I can overpower her. Empress is not the strongest Saiyan, so this is kind of a it's like one of those ones like we can't keep up the fight against her because she later reveals that she can also project energy from this axe because we're Kato and I were basically doing some pillar and his lightning kind of combination attacks, and we were landing some hits on her, but at the level she was at, like it wasn't slowing her down enough. And what she was able to do is the more I would summon these pillars, she would start flinging, like she would start swinging her axe at them, and it would get hit with the energy and then basically fade away into nothingness without any kind of effect. So I'm just kind of spending energy on nothing at that point. The big one where we kind of turn the fight is we I summoned like a couple more pillars. Like I had like four at that point, and she starts like, and before I even can see what's going on, two of them disappear. And it's just like, oh my gosh, she's so freaking fast. Like this is, I mean, like the whole thing. Like this is a rough fight. Like this is not like something that Evers is like waltzing his way through. This is life or death. Like he catch one of these slashes across the chest. Like I'm pretty sure that's a wrap for him. So like there's a lot of caution that's going into it, especially now that I don't have my shield and like my armor is like severely damaged, that I can't like take a block or anything like that. Like I get caught in the open, like I got nothing to block if she releases some of that energy at me, and then it's just pretty much fade to black for me. Uh, and oh yeah, so anyway, like I said, two disappeared, and then she starts swinging them out. Like she starts swinging them those energy beams at the pillars to try to get rid of them. And while what ended up happening was Kato actually used his lightning to capture two of my pillars. Like he could do some wild stuff with lightning. Like it's definitely far and above just like the lightning strikes and everything like that. But he manages to capture them and basically sets up a trap with them uh, with the aid of my kind of like distraction or my kind of assault in the process. And bang, we catch her with a good one where he basically infuses his lightning into my shape charges pillars, and she basically curls up into a ball, and like her armor's damaged and she's kind of like messed up looking and everything like that. And it's like, oh DM, because she's like kind of curled up, and I was like, I turn on my absorption matrix, and I go in there with one of my spear, like my javelin spears, and I stab her at the base of the skull, and because like it's one of those ones where the energy is still washing over her, so unless I have this matrix up, like I'm gonna take a good bit of damage myself, but the matrix can absorb a certain amount of energy, but it can also get overwhelmed. Uh, and when it gets overwhelmed, it's basically it stops and it fades. But like when it's up, it will absorb kinetic and energy based attacks to the point where it's like they'll stop at it. So it's a pretty potent ability. I'm kind of like it ended up being a lot more potent than I thought it would be when I first asked for it. But like I said, it does have like basically a cup full kind of thing where once it fills up, it's kind of done for until it like recharges itself. So I go ahead and put the matrix up, go for the stab, kind of go for like the finishing blow, hoping I can catch her, and she manages to block with the axe to prevent it from being a fatal blow, but it allows me to stab her in the shoulder. So I stab her a good one, and she kind of like lets out the cry. But there was something, I can't remember if she did it, or I think there might have been someone behind me at this point, because there is another guy that shows up, and of course he's a real dick like that. But something hit my matrix and basically canceled it out. So what I did was I was like, all right, DM, I apply that because it's like it's kind of like what happens with it is unlike what was his name, Bishop from X-Men, who absorbs energy and then redirects that energy through like kind of his own kind of thing. What I do is I convert it to kinetic. So it's basically somewhere between strength and power behind punches. It's like a mix between those two. So what I do is I let go of my spear because she's basically like looking to do something with me, and I was like, I try to. Oh, at this point I had activated also to get this big attack. I activated the Harlequin mask for Kato and that allowed us some clutch thing to kind of keep up with her a little bit. And I grabbed both of her wrists and I put my knee in the middle of her back, and I start pulling back so that Kato has an exposed shot on her, because she's basically maneuvering her axe around. I was like, whoa, DM, I dropped my weapon, grab onto her wrist. And that's when I had that epiphany. It's like, everything that she has done so far has been equally matched in power to what I have done. Maybe even not equally matched, like maybe below. Like, because when I blocked her blow with the shield, like, it wasn't like I didn't even like fly back or anything like that, as far as I know. Like, I kind of blocked it and it stopped, and then the shield, I managed to get my arm out of the way before the axe cut through it. But there was like a couple other strikes that she did that didn't seem like. So I was like, okay, DM, I put that build up thing, like my bishop style thing into basically crushing her wrist, and I just crush both of her wrists, and she lets out this terrible scream. And it's just like one of those ones, like, Everest is usually such a cleaner fighter when it comes to stuff like, just kind of like dismantling somebody or anything like that. Like, this is just one of those, he kind of like grabs, and there's that crunch, and then just his fist just clench around it, and I rip my knee into her back even further and try to pull her arms back even further. Kato comes in for the death blow, and that's when the dude behind us, because of course they've got even more backup. Like, at this point, like, they had, they basically brought a 4 and 2 3s to deal with maybe a 4 and a couple 2 2s and like maybe a couple low 2s to mid 1s. And it's like, geez, like, I forgot some freaking heavy hitters. Anyway, this guy, I think, is, I don't know if he's nicer than Cyborg Girl, but he's also like, he's fast, he's destructive, and he's got some stuff going on for him. Anyway, he manages to wrap Cyborg Girl up in like this ball of water, and I didn't know at the time if this was something like, I didn't know if it was friend or foe, like the next person that showed up. So I'm just like, okay, like, someone's going to handle this Cyborg Girl. Like, I'm not going to, like, I need to focus on what was coming behind me, because as I found out, someone behind me threw like basically a flaming dagger at my head. What happened was, what stopped Kato from getting the killing blow was this fireball came, and he kind of did this swirling thing with his staff to kind of deflect it off to the side, but the power behind the explosion also knocked him out of the way, so he couldn't get the killing blow. But this person is severely maimed at this point, like, arms hyperextended, both wrists like literally bone turned to dust kind of thing, like, where it just shattered, maybe not dust, but like shattered and crushed, where, unless they can get out there and throw some kicks through the agonizing pain, they're pretty much out of it. But like, they seem like they're kind of in a shock state. The water wraps around them, pulls them away, and there's something coming towards behind me, and I managed to get out of the way to the point where it's like, I think it slashes across my neck and my cheek, but this dude behind me was like throwing a dagger, and it kind of stopped me. Like, he was kind of a last second thing to save the woman that we were just about to kill. And he is another cosmic user who has flames, and he basically controls fire, water, and the absence of like heat, like cold, like extreme colds. And he's kind of like, what's his name from My Hero, but like definitely a bit different. He did kind of remind me of that character from there. What's his name? Endeavor's son. But it's like he had like ice armor, like a Bobby Drake style thing, from like the shoulders down, and then from like the shoulders up he was like fire. I didn't infer too much with that, whether like there was a percentage base to it or anything like that, if he was more cold than hot, but like everything he's used so far was pretty much fire for his destructive nature. His ice stuff seemed more protective. He shows up, and he feels like he's cosmic too, which is just like, man, like, if freaking people. I start to formulate a plan that's a little on the complicated side, but basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to assault this guy. I'm going to assume that Kato has gotten back from getting knocked off from that explosion. It seemed like it was a deflection on his part. Like he didn't like take a blast or anything like that. It's just more I have to assume that he's going to be there, like kind of having my back at this. So I'm going to take this guy as a frontal assault because everything this guy has done has been from range so far. Usually those people that tend to get up on your face tend to get up on your face pretty quick. So even though Everest isn't one of those like get up on your face people, he's also a Saiyan, and he's like, well, you know what? Even and that's something I was like, maybe this is a bit inaccurate or anything like that, but like the power sense I'm getting from these people might just be more on raw destructive strength than actual physical strength, and it kind of proved right with the girl that we just kind of maimed, where it's like, yeah, she had like some powers that definitely surpassed ours when it came to destructive potential, in the sense that they were nullification, but like when it came to actually boxing and everything like that, Saiyans aren't sweet for a reason, you know. It's like they hit hard, they move fast, like that kind of thing. Um, Harlequin mask runs out. I'm at about like 55% power. Kato is probably a little bit higher than I am because I don't think he's done anything quite as crazy. And do number two is stepping up to the plate. At some point during this, one of the powers dropped dramatically with the fight with Vash and those three. I don't know. I don't care which one it is, but all I know is uh, Rock Dude doesn't seem like he's coming for us yet, so Vash is holding the line. Good for him. Uh, this dude, we don't get to fight too long. We do like one or two kind of combo moves against him, and his speed is more based on like a Silver Surfer slash um, Iceman style of Iceboard. I feel like I could have probably caught him if not for that. Uh, what do I do? Because I do end up catching him. I'm trying to remember. Because we do get it in. Oh, that's what it was. Uh, so Kato summons. Uh, I come to find out that he's actually healing the other the level 3 chick down there, and that's gonna be bad because it's like it's one of those ones like two twos we can sometimes take a three. Two threes versus two twos, that's a wrap. Like no, like that's not happening. Like transcendent abilities and everything like that. Like one on one, like we're probably no match for either of these people. Two on one, we can maybe go at him. And he looks like he's healing this other chick, the robot chick, and Kato out of nowhere uh, summons these random ass unicorns. And I thought like maybe at first they'd be electric unicorns, but then I remember he's a life magic user. And my mom summons like she has like summons and stuff like that. He did something with like the blood that he got hit with, like he got cut I think by one of the daggers as well at some point, and he used some of his blood to summon these things. So I'm guessing life magic users also have access to summoning magic. I know my mom actually can create creatures. She's a little bit more everything with it than Kato is, but anyway, he summons these two unicorns, and to say they're unicorns, they're basically horse-like creatures. Horse creatures, they're horses, I think, but like their horns are like massive and made of like a super violent electricity, and it's one of those like it felt like a transcendent technique. Like everything we've seen so far with Kato, I don't think anything that he has brought to the table is a transcendent technique. Maybe that metal, that super dense metal, but even then, I don't think that is. I think that's just a finesse thing. This is the first thing that I've felt from him that feels like it's a transcendent kind of technique where it it all and like it he pays for it with like his energy and everything like that because I can feel it's like it's draining him, but also uh, it's doing some work against our two opponents. So what it does is the girl with the axe like appears above him, and this is as I'm going to strike the other dude. Uh, and what these like these unicorns like basically bind her in lightning, and just start like messing her over really bad. But she's kind of bandaged up with this like weird. It looks like water, but also like energy, like that kind of cosmic-y mist that you would associate sometimes with effects. And what he basically did was he trapped her, but because she was tethered to the other guy, she starts messing him up as, or he starts messing him up as well. So Kato kind of really, he really pulled through with this move, because one, it's enough to just like incinerate the girl who's right next to him, because the field of energy is that violent that that he's able to do it. But his power is fading fast. Um, so the other guy looks like he's trying to fight it off, and he's kind of summoning this mist around him that seems like it's fighting it off. And it's like, well, DM, there's never a dull moment. Like, you can't waste this opportunity. I go all in on him. Like, I'm gonna try to get a killing blow on him. I think my initial thing was like, I'm gonna go stab him. Like, we're gonna go for a, at least like to put a good sized hole in him and everything like that. And then when I'm close to him, hopefully do some pillar detonations to like blow off some limbs and stuff like that and mess the guy up. So I had, the problem was the level of energy that was being exuded from these summons was like, I was originally going to bring like 4 pillars in, and it was like the DM was like, you have a 15% chance of making it to him with any of these pillars intact. I was like, what about 1 pillar? And he's like 50%. And I was like, all right, DM, I'm going to go 2 pillars. He's like 30%. And I was like, okay, well, hold on. What I want to do is I want to have 1 pillar like way off to the side. Like, that's just kind of my random Hail Mary. And then, because like I had sent the pillars off in various directions from an earlier technique, and some of them were still out there because he managed to dodge it with that ice board that I said, where it's like it greatly boosted his speed. The DM basically said to me is like, the one that would be closer to me, just because I'm flying through the flying through this storm to get to him would be much more difficult, but probably like 65-70% chance of, if I focus hard enough, of getting the other pillar through. And I was like, all right, DM, well, that's what we got to go on. And so I start flying at him, and I think I make it about like a third of the way through, and the 1 pillar I was protecting, boom, it gets hit by the lightning and just detonates. And I just, well, okay. So we still have the 1 pillar. So I was like, DM, all my focus on that, getting it to the guy to detonate it. And boom, I actually managed to pull it off. Thank goodness. Because like now, I guess now that, because the one on the outskirts had a higher percentage chance, and I'm thinking maybe what happened was, since I was no longer focusing on 3 things, which is myself, the 1 pillar, the other pillar, getting to the guy, it basically bumped it up to a pretty good chance of me pulling it off, and especially me putting all my focus into it was enough to get it there. And boom, it blasts the guy really good, and he goes flying off to the side from the explosion, pretty messed up looking. Like, it's one of those ones where usually my pillars are much more destructive if I can use them as like, if I'm like if I'm detonating them through my strikes and stuff like that, where I'm connecting my own ki to them. But they're still very destructive in this thing, where it's like the guy looks very messed up. Like, his armor's all, or his no, he wasn't wearing armor. Like, his clothes are all shredded and everything like that, and his skin is burned and scorched. And all right, DM, we rush him, and this is where I go for the killing blow. Kato, after this has happened, literally just drops out of the sky. Like, whatever this technique was is too much for him to maintain. I don't think he dropped 2, as I found out later from the DM, but just like, he spent, like, he used the rest of it. He incinerated the one chick, he gave me the opening on the other. Now this guy got this guy on the ropes. Now we need to finish the job and figure out what the hell we're gonna do. Like, if I'm gonna keep running away from the 4 and Vash can keep it busy, or what, I don't know. I go in for the guy, and he manages to block my strike, getting up close. Part of me thinks I should have just used the Harlequin at this point, but sometimes there's like not a weird, but like there is an activation gap for the Harlequin speed. It's not just like you turn it on or anything like that. Oh, at this point I was using 2 or 3 of my other speed techniques. So I have the Kaioken style flash from these ether magic tattoos that I have. I have the ether crafted coins that boost my speed. And then I also have this ability called a flash step, which is basically a burst of speed in a singular direction. Like, it's kind of not a singular direction, like a line. Like it's not like you flash step and kind of go like zigzag or anything like that. It's like bang, you flash step in a straight line to kind of gain a speed boost. So I was using those three, so it's not because like at that point I was around 50% power, and another use of the Harlequin knocks me down to 25%. At 25%, a stiff breeze, not a stiff breeze, a decent hit or a single mistake will knock you out of Super Saiyan 2. Like you're just that's kind of, and like, you know, when you get knocked out of 2, like I can only flash back up to 1, and that's a wrap for these people. Like I'm out of the fight at that point. So I basically rely on my other forms of speed to get up on him, and he manages to, I think he manages to deflect the killing blow, but still gets stabbed by it. But he also brings out these ice spears to bring him around me, and I try to bring out my absorption matrix, and they manage to stop me from getting killed. But like I still take a lot of shallow cuts from it. Like it wasn't fast enough because this guy is above my level. It wasn't fast enough from because like one I caught him by surprise, and two, which is what I was banking on, and basically the activation of this technique and his speed was enough where I basically got stabbed like 6 times in the back, but it was enough to do it. At the same time, he's basically looking to go supernova and blow himself. I don't know if he's blow himself up or basically make a really powerful explosion. So whoa, DM, I basically kick off him and try to get away. As I'm doing this, I see a Harlequin mask come around me, and everything starts to move in slow motion, where it seems like he's moving about 25% as fast as he was before, and poof, I managed to get away. Thankfully, Vash and I think is Vash. No, Nissa is still up. Alaric is the one who gets knocked out, and Vash is still there, and he's like, "We gots to go." And all right. They also had Vash had Kato and Alaric. Nessa's on her own 2 feet, and Vash is like, "We gotta go." And it's like, "Oh, that's the call I'm waiting for. We're out." So second guy didn't get it. That blast would have messed me up, but I don't think it would have been fatal from what the DM said. It's like one of those ones where it would have definitely put me at a severe disadvantage if I got hit by it. But yeah, it was just kind of like his panic thing to get me off him so I didn't kill him. But and like I said, my matrix would have probably absorbed some of it. But yeah, it would have, the DM was like, yeah, player, it would have messed you up pretty bad from the amount of force and explosion that came off it. So we start running, and we go to these airships, where there's like this crate, like it feels like it messes with like your perception of people's power and everything like that. Because like some of these airships feels like 3s and 4s as far as like the power that they possess within them, and that's just like the mechanical aspect of it, not even like the people or anything. We go to this one and we meet with this other rock dude, and we're, I guess, at some point during the fight with Rock Dude, Alaric, I don't know if Alaric remembered or said something, that there was this dude named Mr. Korvax that had Alana Salt as his prisoner. And there was a lot of exposition at this point where we basically go there, seek sanctuary with this dude. The kind of the meetup to go to this like gambling style place, and like they're kind of sitting around like BSing, and Vash basically cashes this card, where it's like his father excuse me, his father was apparently like someone pretty high up or pretty significant within this organization, because he's like the son of this dude named Vance Gunner. And yeah, if I come to find out, Salia City was the place that was destroyed. And there's this big lead up to meeting him, and like Vash is just kind of like, stay close, don't say anything, that kind of thing. And that's more than fine with me. Like, this is your planet, your rules. Like, I'm just trying to avoid Super Saiyan 4, dude. And my thought is when we get in here, like, there's a bunch of like SS3 level powers that I couldn't sense before. So I'm hoping there's some kind of dampening effect or some kind of like sensory effect that will keep us off this rock dude's radar. But we'll see what happens with that, because we're almost to the end here. What's it called? Oh, that's how we managed to get away. Rock Guy ended up sensing like he was fighting around 12 other people at the time. I don't know who those people were. Didn't really care. Gave us a chance to get away. Um, we basically meet with the guy. The dude, Mr. Korvax, is he kind of gives you like that crime boss vibe going to him, like kind of in that outlaw circuit. But yeah, he basically says to Vash like this is your last chance to like use your father's name to call in like a favor or anything like that, and basically Vash asks him for the favor of like we need to talk to so and so. We need to talk to Alana Salt. She's your prisoner. Just need to talk to her for a couple minutes, and that's all we're asking. On cue, these pair of gold eyes show up, and Rock Dude had gold eyes. If I didn't say that before, I might have missed that. And then it's just like he's there, and it's just like, no, the 12 people couldn't hold the line, and this is like, how, you monster? And I think like I can't remember if it was Alaric had came to at that point, because Kato had came to, and I was like he was kind of standing on his own, and it was either Vash or Alaric was holding Nissa back, because like I'm guessing he killed her home and all of her people, her friends, her family, and everything. Like people do in real world. She's one of those tragic lost stories that I'm all too familiar with. Yeah, so he's like I have business. I'm here to kill like basically the Rangers and all these people associated with the Elders and everything like that. And Mr. Korvac's not having any of it. He's like as you can see, he's like, they're under my protection currently because they are guests of mine. Why don't you go somewhere else? And Bane's like, the Rock Dude's like, yeah, but I'm taking one of them with me. And it's like, maybe you're having trouble hearing. I was like, oh shoot, Korvac is hard, because I don't know how, like, Korvac apparently isn't sweet, but I don't know, so that like he's like, he might be one of those people who have people fight for him, because as soon as like Rock Dude stepped in, like 3 or 4 level 3s stepped up to him, like, if we're gonna have a problem, like we're gonna go here. And so Korvac is annoyed with Rock Dude. Rock Dude is like, yeah, like, listen, like, you then, if you're like, if these people are under your thing, you owe me some sort of like uh challenge or something like that. Like, it's like I'm basically free to challenge you, or and then it becomes apparent that the rules that of this challenge is he can challenge Korvac or anyone under his employee or anyone under his care. And it's like, right on, DM. Screw, screw this dude. And so I'm like, and Vash is like, Vash is just like, he's fuming and everything like that. And I assume he's gonna like try to kill Vash, because it seems like Vash is the person he wants it in for. But he challenges me, and I was like, wait, hold a second, why me? And I guess like Korvax he looks at me up and down, and he's like, really, the Saiyan? And he's like, I can kill these other 3 at any time. The Saiyan, I feel like, will be out of my grasp soon enough, and he works for the what's it called? And I was like, oh god damn it, DM. Freaking Harlequin stuff. I was like, wait, hold on here. I was like, we're not from here. We don't know any of the rules or anything like that. What's going on here? What's this challenge entail? When's it's got to be filled? Everything like that. He basically goes down to the thing. It's like, you basically only make your way out of this challenge through your opponent. I guess it would be either through yielding or probably death, most likely death. This guy, Bane, is 100% going for death. He pulls out a knife, throws it in this circle. There's this weird like illumination to it, and he challenges me formally. And I like, that's where I kind of hash out. It's like, well, all right. So Emerson's plan is, if that's the way they're going to run this, is like, listen, when's this happen? When's this got to be fulfilled? Kind of like all the questions you would hope to ask when like a challenge to the death when you're fighting a SS4 level cosmic person as an SS2 would hope to ask. And Emerson's plan is, okay, if it's not immediate, he delivers the message, and he Harlequin portals out of here, jumps 15 galaxies back, and if he wants to come chase me, then guess what? Uncle Tosh and Pops and a bunch of other SS4s are gonna knock some sense into Bane, and show him what it's like to mess with people whose own whose own weight class, because I don't know if you noticed back there, but like two SS2 boys, they were messing up your SS3 level people because they're not that sweet. Um, but like the gap between the twos, high level twos, low level threes, mid level threes, is very very different from the gap between 2 and 4. It's just like and I was like, so it's like basically you're looking at an excuse to kill me without without any kind of you know any any kind of fairness to it. Like, it's like there is no fairness in life. Like if someone like that powerful wants to kill you and everything like that, they can certainly do it, but like this is kind of like a formal way to do it without stepping on this dude's Korvac's toes. And I was like, right on, okay, let's do it. And I had basically fleshed out that it has to happen by the end of the day. All I gotta do is deliver the message to the Lot Assault, and then basically winging a prayer that I can get out of there before the challenge gets to. The guy wants to follow me, and then it's like, yeah, here's how the challenge works on my home turf. And then Kato says, like, I'm assuming he can like appoint a champion if he wants to, and Korvac's like, yeah. And I was like, no, Kato, like, come on, man, like. And Kato looked like what he was ready to do is he was ready to shoot his way out of here. And I was like, I love you dearly, bro. Like, I didn't say anything yet, but I was like, I think it was like 4 level 3s stepped to Korvac or stepped to Bane when he came in the airship. I was like, I don't think you get out of here by any kind, like, this is all still internal. I was like, I don't think you get out of here anyway, like, because like he's kind of like, it's like that backs against the wall thing. It's like, if we're going out fighting kind of thing. And I'm just like, if we're going out, like, I'm not letting you go out for me or anything like that. Like, you're my guide and everything to get back, but it's like, this is my thing, this isn't yours. And so Kato pulled out a knife, and Korvac had given me a knife, and I wouldn't have. I was gonna throw in with Kato. Like, we're a throw in together. Like listen, the whole screw the champion thing. You want a one-on-one. You can 2v1 us, because we'll give you what we can give you, and that's gonna be a wrap. Because apparently Kato and I were ride or die at that point. Like, it's, if one of us wasn't making it back, the other one wasn't gonna let the other one not gonna do it. Which, dumb thing to do, but also like. That's the price of friendship and everything like that. So there was this dude in the there's a bunch of people eyeing different people in the room, and whenever I said, okay, I'll do the challenge, and I grabbed Korvac's knife that he gave to me so I could throw it in the ring. This dude in this like, it almost looked like a sandbender kind of armor, if you remember from Avatar. One of their kind of uniforms, kind of wrapped up, masked and everything like that, so you couldn't see his face, kind of like eyed me up, like really, like the Super Saiyan 2 is going to take on this dude who is clearly outside of his class. And it's like, it's back to the wall. Sometimes there's not another way out. Like, we're basically cornered at this point. I think Nessa has some kind of escape thing, but Bane basically called her out and said, you'll be dead before you even like attempt to summon it. It kind of reminded me of like the sling rings from Doctor Strange, the thing she was able to do that got us away from Bane the first time, which I skipped a little bit because there's a lot of stuff, anyway, so I was like, Kato looked like he was ready to go, in the sense of, we're gonna shoot our way out of here and see what happens. Probably gonna die in the process. And I was like, hold on, let me talk to my champion here for a minute. And I pull him aside. I'm like, Kato, listen, man, like, here's my plan. I was like, I don't think we should, like, because I got the impression like that's what he was ready to do. Like, he's bang throwing the dagger down, and we're getting it in. Like, we're making a run for it, getting out of here. I was like, I don't think we do it. I was like, this guy plus like all the other people in here, like the threes that stepped up. I don't even know who else is in the room, like, as far as big power levels go or anything like that. But like, I just recognize the people that stepped up to Bane. It's like, I don't think we get out of here. I was like, I think what we do is we basically we accept the challenge. We go for it, and we hope that we basically get the exit out of here after we talk to this Alana Salt person. And then if he wants to come and follow me or anything like that, then at least we've got like Uncle Tosh and Pops and Uncle Makoto and everything like that to like cover our backs back home. If he wants to bring a squad like this deep, to you know to fight us, to basically get away with like trying to murder us with no repercussions, because screw that. And Kato's like, all right, and he's like, but Kato's like, I'll do it. And I was like, no, man, like, and Vash is like, I can't let either of you do this. And it's like, listen, like, he's like, it's like, I don't know, like, it was just kind of like Vash was frustrated, but like he also, I don't know if he was like gonna take like the place of the champion or anything like that. And I was like, all right. So Kato goes up and he goes to throw his knife at the ring. I I go to grab Korvac's knife to throw at the ring, because it's like, you know what? Screw it. Why don't you kill two people instead of one? And we're gonna give you a fight that's gonna be better than you just like going out there and murdering me in like 2 seconds. And whew, this knife lands in the thing. And I was like, oh shoot, like I felt bad, because it's like I thought Kato got his knife in there, or maybe Vash threw it in first. And I was like, well, Vash did it, like, this is his world, his problem kind of thing, because the Bane dude, there are other rock guys around here that look like him. He seems like he's a native of this planet. Um, he's not like a intergalactic kind of thing. Maybe this race is a lot more common out there, but at least there are other people of this race that look like him. And it's neither Kato's nor my knife that lands in the center. And this dude stands up from the side and says, I'll be his champion. And it's Sandbender boy. And I was like, whoa, like, really, dude? Like, you want to take him? Because I was like, I'm thinking like, no offense or anything like that, but like, if you think you got a shot at him, like, I didn't say any of this, like, I'll let you do it, because like, this is me basically asking to get murdered if I accept this challenge. And he pulls off the mask, and it's Uncle Makoto. Now, who is Uncle Makoto, you ask? My name is Emrys Blood of Makoto, and he is the oldest of the Tri-Blade brothers, the most powerful, the everything dude of my dad and like dad and Uncle Tosh. They're the everything dudes I was gonna fall back on. I wasn't gonna call him Uncle Makoto, because Uncle Makoto is above all that nonsense. But there he is in the flesh, freaking, what is he, like a 80 120 year old Saiyan? It is prime, like prime Super Saiyan 4 fighting kind of thing. It was just like, the reveal blew me away. Like, I was just like, oh, like, wilding out, because I never, like, because at first, because we made a joke earlier, it's like, man, these cosmic people, where's freaking Cameron the Wandering Warrior out there? He's out there like pursuit of justice and everything like that. You're cosmic. Why don't you get on those cosmic beams and come out here and lend your old pal Emrys a hand? He'll even cut you into a discount on your weapon. You help me deal with this Bane dude. And I was just like, my mind's racing, thinking like, because like if it's Uncle Tosh, I feel like I recognize him probably on body language, definitely like my dad or anything like that. Like Uncle Makoto, he's a little bit more distant, I think, uh, from me than others, just because of like how high up he is and how kind of separated he is. Like he's like the person who rules the sector that we have control of. And I'm just like, what is he doing out here? What is going on? Like, there's something bigger at play. But like, you're like, yeah, man, Uncle Makoto, you get him, Uncle Makoto. You show this guy what Saiyans all about. Guy wanted to murder a little SS2 that's out there doing work. You can get it. Yeah, that's where I went on pause. And man, what a freaking twist! What a hype turn! Like, just like from a character perspective, because it's like if Uncle Tosh showed up, I'd have been like, yeah, Uncle, because it seemed like it'd be like an Uncle Tosh thing kind of do. Like, yeah, he's like, I won't say him as his favorite or anything like that, but him and I have like a pretty good connection to each other. Like, even growing up, when I was like young and growing up, he was kind of like a second dad kind of thing. And yeah, like he's more a little bit off the beaten path than my dad. Like my dad's a kind of like the straight laced military dude, which is Dakawan, my older brother. He kind of followed in his footsteps, where I'm a little bit more of the artistic type. Like I got like I got like the Harlequin stuff. I got like the forge. I got like the weapon crafting and everything like that. Whereas the others are a little bit more straight up. So Uncle Tosh and I kind of always kind of connect that. But Uncle Tosh is also not sweet by any means. So I would have been like surprised if Uncle Tosh showed up, but like having Uncle Makoto show up was wild. Not as wilding out. But that's where my session end. What a finale to it. We didn't. I guess we didn't technically murder. Oh no, we did. We did. We killed the one SS3 girl. Kato finished her off, but I said like for me like the move of like Emrys like grabbing her wrist, like putting his knee in the middle of her back and then pulling back because like I was prepared to like rip her arms from her socket, and I was just like, well, if I can crush her, like basically crushing her wrist like that, I was like, I let out like one of those guttural screams like ah, and tore it back and messed her up good. I don't know if we were going to take the other three guy because like at that point we were. It's like it'd have been tight because I guess like the big thing was Kato was kind of out of the fight at that point, and I was getting low on power, so it'd have probably been pretty rough for me to finish him off solo. But I don't know. We didn't have to figure that out because thankfully we got out of there. But yeah, that was the session. Probably a long recap, but I hope you guys enjoy.